Hi. In this clip, we're going to talk about informative speech's instructional style. That's the second style. We've already discussed reporting. We're going to move into instructional. Instructional speeches are how-tos. How to tell us to do something. Okay. This is where we're instructing or explaining, and our efforts is to concentrate on having our audience learn something new or learn more about something. How to actually perform the process or the actions we're explaining. Now, we just covered this speech in class, and I already talked about this in class, but this, again, I just reference videos. I love them. We did visual aids, and we went over visual aids in class, and I set up all kinds of video snippets of visual aids, and I did videos on visual aids as well, so I'm not going to go in depth on the use of visual aids here, except, again, when you're using visual aids, plan it carefully. Plan. What do I mean? Don't just throw it together last minute before you walk into a presentation, into a room, or to a classroom, because golden rule, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. Check your technology. If you're using a PowerPoint presentation, make sure you can pull up the slides. Make sure everything is legible and that you can see it clearly. What do I mean? Don't go crazy with your fonts and your colors and bright. You don't want to have something that's like yellow and pink and blue and green and purple and flashing. It's very distracting, and we lose your message. We lose your information because we're so distracted by all this going on. So you don't want to have things flying in and coming out and all over the place. Did you see how crazy that can be? Like, or moving. So keep it pretty simple. Keep it pretty basic. Don't get wild with your fonts. I know it can be fun, but make your fonts legible to read. And watch your color combos. Why do I say that? If you're putting red and green up there or blue and purple together, there are folks who are colorblind and cannot registering those two colors is difficult. They can't. So it might look the same to them if you use those color combos. So use a pretty basic font, pretty basic style. Don't go crazy with graphics or flashing lights or colors. You don't want it to be too busy. Check your space. That's a big deal too. You know, how you present to a speech of 10 people is completely different to 50 and so forth, to 100 to 150. You know, if you're using graphics, make sure your audience can see them. If you choose an 8x10 photo and you're in a room of 200, 300 people, they're not going to see that picture. You need to make sure your graphics fit the space and fit where you're going. So know beforehand what's going on, where you're going to be, all that information. Check the setup. Go in beforehand. Make sure everything's where you want it to be. You don't want to turn your back to the audience while giving a speech while you're trying to look at a presentation over here, because we lose your face, we lose you, and you don't want your audience to lose you. You want to maintain eye contact. You want them to be able to understand your process. And plan an alternative route. If something goes wrong in the middle of your speech, have a backup. I know that sounds crazy, but just, have something so you're not up there going, what do I do? You don't want to be stuck like a deer in the headlight look. But back to instructing how-to speeches. That's just telling us a process. So pick a process. Maybe you know how to make the best cupcakes in town. Just the best, most delicious cupcakes in the world. Tell us how to do that. Now, when I say how-to speeches, I don't mean pull up a cake box and read the directions off the cake box. I mean, give us the instructions. It could start off with a cake box, but there's so many different things that you can do to incorporate using a cake box mix that you can get some flair to your speech. Or maybe your how-to process is how, so what I do, I bake a lot. How to fix a computer, how to fix a cracked screen on a phone. That's a big one. Perhaps you're telling us how to cook something. You know, when you're giving us the steps, make sure the steps are easy to follow. You don't want to give a speech that has 20, 50 different steps because you're going to lose people. We've talked about this before. There's kind of like a magic number in speeches, like 3 to 4. 3 is a magic number when it comes to giving speeches. 3 points. 3 points. You got your intro, got a conclusion. 3 points. 3 points. We're not going to lose, especially within a class speech. You're not going to lose your audience. You may start losing them once you hit 5, 7, 10, 15 points. They're in La La Land. I don't want to say that for everybody, but your instructional how-to could also be how to carve a pumpkin. Halloween season is upon us. How to make some Halloween treats, or how to make a costume. You know, it's just a how-to. Tell us how to do something. That's an instructional, the video. And chronological order, sorry, my throat's crazy. We talked about with reporting is also used in instructional speeches because you want to start with the first step and work your way through. And the difficulty can also be in this as well. Say you're, telling how to change a tire. You probably start with the easiest step and then move your way forward. So, reporting and instructing styles of speech use some of the same formats, difficulty and chronological, because if you're going to tell us how to make a cupcake, you're not going to start with, well, eat it, you're done. You kind of want to start with, you gather your ingredients, or maybe you're telling us how to prepare for a 5K properly, or how to lift weights safely, how to rebuild an engine. You want to start with the very first step. You don't want to start in the middle. If you're giving us a speech on how to make lasagna, you're not going to start with, well, then you put the cheese on top. Oh, wait, I forgot. You got to put some noodles. Oh, wait, before the noodles, you need to cook the noodles and get the noodles ready. Or, oh, yeah, don't forget, you're going back and forth. So, again, you lose your audience. So, just remember, instructing style of informative speech is a how-to. We've already done this. We did the visual aid part of this. But within it is chronological and difficulty styles of speeches, which we also discussed prior. And that's pretty much it with instructional. So, awesome. Thanks. We'll move on to the next little world clip. Thank you so much.